Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Renegade was a game that Dylan, you may know him from his channel, let me borrow his game. I like the solo games. I like cooperative games. He said give this one a try. Now, this is one of those reviews that I know I'm going to get downvoted a lot. A lot of people are going to come back. I put a thread up. It didn't go very well for me. You know, it's a lot more those attacks like, well, you don't understand how it works. Play it 17 times and then you'll be good at it. Let's talk about this. I never could get this game to work. And you're like, well, then why are you reviewing? I think this is really important. I want to know if somebody who plays board games quite a bit, I do. I play solo, I play cooperative, I play competitive, cannot figure a game out. I want to know that. That's information that's important to me. So, you know, I struggled with whether to make this video or not, because I did one of these for 51st State back in the day, and people just tore me apart. Got downvoted, wasn't very well liked. And here I am again, doing the same thing. So, let's talk about Renegade. And the components are okay. You know, you're going to get these little standees, and they're okay. It's fine. You're going to have a bunch of these little things that just are different colors. Whoa, we're going to get back to this. And then you have these boards that are just numbers. So, I bring this up to say this game is very, very abstract. And I think this comes from maybe like a first-time designer issue, where you have an abstract game, but you know abstract games don't sell. So you're just convinced that you have to put a theme onto this. And I think that this is where this game starts its troubles, is that it wants to be a thematic game, and it's not. It's a game with numbers, and a game with colors. And that's what this game is based on. So what do we get? We get this. This is the problem with the game. I hear the game is fantastic. If you're willing to play 4 or 5 times and learn all the rules and all the exceptions, you'll love it. What is this game? This game feels like it's Pandemic with extra rules stacked on it. And I'm not really sure why, because I could never get this game to work. Let me explain one of the main issues I had with the game. And I realize I'm going to get torn up for this. I just realize it because I put a thread up and that's what happened to me. So, they kind of admit the game's going to be a bear to learn, because right here they give you a tutorial mission. It's a simulation, it's not as hard as the rest, and they're kind of already admitting, I didn't catch it at first, that this game's going to be hard to digest. Here's why. You have an entire page, can you see that? Of definitions that you need to learn before you play this game. Now let me tell you something. This game should not be that difficult, but I'm given a 32-page rule book to play an abstract, harder Pandemic. And I know I'm going to get busted alive for saying it's a harder Pandemic, but that's really what it feels like. And you get 32 pages of this. And I get 1 page of definitions, okay? So let's take a look at this. I'm going to bore you to death. I'm going to read to you. Partition. Each separate numbered hexagonal space on a server. Pieces exist in and move between partitions. Okay. A partition's a space on the board. I don't need a definition for it, and I definitely don't need a fancy name for it. It's a hex. It's a spot. This has 6 spaces on it. Each of them is a partition. A partition. Each separate numbered hexagonal space on a server. Pieces exist in and move between partitions. Okay. Alright. Let's move on. What's a home server? The server that matches your avatar's color. I.e., the blue server tile is in the blue avatar's home server. So I think your home spaces, the 6 spaces, is your home server. These numbers is a home server. The network, the entirety of the game board, comprises of its 5 connected server tiles. So no, these are server tiles. Okay? The network, which is all of these together, which make up the board, is made up of server tiles. These are not home servers. So even though I was explaining this, what I thought I knew about the game, I just read it, and I guess I don't know about them. So you get these chits, these different colored chits that you're going to have. Each one has a different name. And you're going to think, oh, yeah, red, yellow, blue, green. No. Information, cognition, deception, destruction, and leadership. Each one of these, if 3 get put on there, become something. So these are called containments. And then Oh, they become installations. I know I'm boring you, but I'm making a point here. So these, we get 3 of these become an installation. Each one of these have a different power that you can do and react differently on the board, which I haven't even gotten to yet. Then you have these sparks that come out. And if 3 sparks come out, which could also be flares, because sparks are double-sided. They can be a spark or a flare. Could be a guardian or a firewall, depending on if there's 3 spares or 3 flares. Become a guardian or a firewall. And each one of those 4, that just named the guardians, the firewalls, the sparks, and the flares, all react differently on the board. Or, excuse me if I have it wrong, so I'm not even pretending I have this right. Something like that. I could be wrong. So each of these servers are 5 different colors. Salvation, virtue, freedom, justice, and faith, or red, yellow, green, purple, and blue. Okay. I think I was able to download these definitions. But then when you read the rest of the game, it'll say each command card shows the quantity and type of cards it generates. You discard 1 or more command cards. So you're deck building a little bit, but when you deck build, you have to give up a card to deck build, so you can use multiple cards. So you can use 4 cards to buy a card, like in any deck builder, but you have to give up one of those cards. You only ever have 15 cards in your deck. So you're always giving up your weaker cards to get the stronger cards. Not to mention there's 3 rounds in each turn, but there's no way to track those rounds. Of all these bobs and bids and generic abstract things they gave us, there's no way to track the rounds. And you're saying, look, you're an idiot. Just count them. I get it. But it's easy when you're dealing with all this that you're dealing with to lose track of the rounds. It's just a little minor quibble of mine. So, this rule book is a huge, huge mess. So let's talk about this. So you have installation types. Remember how I told you each one of these do something different? Once installed, the red ones spawn a new virus. Tokens at a lower cost with a propagate action. The yellow ones, once installed, they spawn new replicant tokens at a lower cost with a replicate action. Neural hubs, the green ones, once installed, these command centers allow you to exert the power of your mind to act on any partition. Holy smoke. This is one of those things where I just wish they would get rid of all the nonsense, okay? This is an abstract game. This is not a computer. It doesn't work like a computer. I don't know how computers work, but I am assuming they don't work like this. Just explain the game. Because I know I'm not the only person. When I posted this, there were some people who would also say, yeah, I never got through the rule book. It was a mess. And I think somebody, like one of the reviewers, I don't know the whole story, told the designer when he was designing this to ditch all the jargon. Teach us how to play the game. It's complicated enough without having to learn your language. I hate learning a new language to play a board game. Why is this game 32 pages? Who thought this was a good idea? I just don't see it at all. And I keep hearing about how good it is, so that I would go back to it, and I would just end up so frustrated. I feel like I'm studying for law exams again, that I'm trying to memorize all these words and these exceptions and what they do. So a shift action. So you have an action where you can move, apparently. You can take it with you. This is how you can move your little guy around the board, and you can move the little circles that you put out. When activated to move, it costs 1 movement point to enter or exit a partition that does not contain any data nodes or data ports. Data nodes carried with you do not count as moving in partition. I'm assuming you use those cards to move around. But then you can also teleport. When activated to move, your avatar may move from a data port to any other partition on the network for 1 movement point. The destination partition contains a data node or data point, then it will cost 0 movement. So now I can move for free. Okay. Shift action. Instead of physically moving your avatar around the network and carrying containment tokens, you can project the power of your mind using 1 green cognition command point to shift or push 1 circular spark or containment token from your avatar's current partition to an adjacent partition. You may shift more than once with a single action. Mindfulness. Now, okay, I got this rule about movement. I can move for free. Seems like I can move if there's blue there. Now I can shift things without moving. Basic restrictions. 3 contaminant limit. No partition can ever have more than 3 types of contaminant. I think those are the circles. No spark explosions. You cannot shift sparks to a partition where there's already a guardian. So once there's a guardian, there cannot be a spark. Installations are immobile. You cannot shift square tokens, which I think are the guardians and something else. So, outreach. Green tokens or uplinks in neural hubs allow you to act remotely as if your avatar were elsewhere operating. So, I can move, I can shift things without moving, and I can move things with my mind. And each one requires a different color. It's very bizarre. Very bizarre rulebook. So this thing prevented me from playing this game. If you're going to buy this game, hear me clearly. You need to be one of three things. Definitely smarter than me. I'm not saying it's a high bar. I'm just saying you need to be smarter than me. Willing to put in more time into this game. I put about 2.5 hours into this rulebook. I had the game set up. I tried to move some pieces. I was like, a lot of it. A player aid would have helped. There's a lot of exceptions to rules. Packed it all up. Posted something on some boards to see maybe if I was the only one having problems. Came back to another night when I wasn't frustrated anymore. Put another couple hours into it. And I was like, geez, this better be the best game ever if I can't figure it out. Now, sometimes I'll take a game and I'll figure it out. I understand. I understand there are some big games. TI4 is going to take me a little bit to get into. But I got these great-looking games. This is a board with different colors and different numbers. I don't expect an abstract to be this difficult. If I got to work this hard, everyone's like, go watch videos. Well, the designer of this game made like 15 videos. Am I exaggerating? Between 8 and 15, I don't have it in front of me. I don't mean to be rude. Of how to play this game. You couldn't even get into one. There's so much to download. Now, this designer is probably an awesome dude, and his game is probably fantastic. I can't figure this game out. I'm packing it up, and I'm saying, I give up. Renegade, you won. I lost this cooperative solo game because I couldn't figure out the rulebook, so the bad guys win, I lose, and that's my experience. If you like this game, man, if you see me at a con, teach me to play it. I'm fine with that. But this is not a game I can learn from this. And even the online stuff, people doing playthroughs and stuff, wasn't really teaching me what was going on. There's so many exceptions in here and so many little fiddly things going on that it's just not for me. Now look, I would purge this game 100 times over, and I would tell you, look, if you are looking at buying a solo game, hear me. I think this is important. That this game is a bear to get into. If you're just really good at reading this book, if this is available online, I don't know if this book is or not. If it is, read it first before buying this game. Because this is a very difficult game to understand. So much that I gave up on it. And I don't feel like, I play a lot of heavy Euros. I play a lot of heavy games. I'm not into like war games or anything like that too much. But I play bigger, what I consider pretty heavy games. And this book, just learning this language, was just terrible. I give up. The game wins. I lose. And I hope you enjoyed the game. I know I'm probably going to get blasted for this review, but this is my experience with the game. I could not data node partition this book. I don't even know any other computer words. This server, hack it with a virus in order to learn how to play this game. This book beat me, and it defeated me, and it's sad. This is like one of 3 games I haven't been able to figure out. There's some games the rule books are just so long and tedious. I'm like, I don't really care that much. This game I actually wanted to play. I was really eager to play it. I was excited about it. I heard how good it was. I was excited. The game let me down. I hope it works out better for you. For me, a Purge. And I'm warning you, read that book before you get it. If you read this book and you have any problems, fantastic. You're smarter than me. You're better at this game than me. And you read this book better than me. I think if you also have a background in computer where some of these words they're saying kind of already mean something to you, but stuff like data node and containment and spark and flare, these are not words I use. They don't mean anything to me. They might as well be made up words. So I don't use these on a daily basis. So, they have no meaning. So maybe if they had meaning, it's like, oh, this all clicks together. I have computer knowledge, but not for me. Definite Purge. Beware, people. I'm warning you. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, please like it and hit that little subscribe button. That really helps out the channel. Lets us know that you're getting the videos that you want. If you agreed or disagree with what I said, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I promise that I will comment back. Thanks for watching, and everybody else, keep playing.